Dear students, welcome back to MNS Digital Classes. The topic of this lecture is transistor load line analysis. The content of this lecture was taken from two books. One is Principles of Electronics by V.K. Mehta. Second one is Electronic Principles by Basuraj Onkar Publications. Transistor load line analysis. In the transistor circuit analysis, it is generally required to determine the collector current for various collector emitter voltages. There are several methods of determining the collector emitter voltage and corresponding collector current. One of the methods, the most convenient method, is the load line analysis. This method involves plotting a line on the output characteristics to determine the collector current at any desired collector emitter voltage. So we can define load line as load line is the locus of the values of IC and VCE corresponding to different values of base current plotted on the output characteristic curve of a transistor for the given value of load. So in this method, we plot the various values of collector current corresponding to various values of VCE, collector emitter voltage, by keeping the base current constant and for the given value of load resistance RC. Why this is called as load line? As we just understood, load line is the graph or the plot obtained by plotting IC versus VCE for a given value of load resistance. And further, we understand in the next topic that the slope of this load line solely depends on the value of load resistance. Therefore, this graph is called as load line. We have two types of load line. One is called as DC load line, other one is called as AC load line. First, let us understand what is DC load line and how to plot the DC load line. DC load line is the line on the output characteristic curve of the given transistor, which gives the values of IC and VCE corresponding to zero signal. So I will repeat again. DC load line is the load line which corresponds to different values of IC and VCE when no signal is applied, that is for zero signal. When no signal is applied to the transistor, the circuit is said to be in quiescent conditions. Now let us analyze the circuit using DC load line concept. Now let us consider a simple common emitter transistor amplifier, that is in NPN transistor. Here is the circuit. We have an NPN transistor in which the emitter is made common to both input and output. The input biasing voltage VBB and output biasing voltage VCC with the load resistance RC. The current passing through the output circuit is taken as IC. The corresponding current in the input circuit is IB, and the emitter current is represented by IE. And VCE is the corresponding output voltage. Now observe the circuit. Since no signal is given to the input, the circuit is in DC conditions. The corresponding graph represents the output characteristic curve of this given NPN transistor in common emitter mode. Here IC is the output current, VC is the corresponding output voltage. So we have the graphs plotted for different values of base current. The line AB represents the DC load line. Now, to plot the DC load line and the output characteristics curve, we need to find the corresponding points. So to get that, let us apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law to the output. So applying Kirchhoff's voltage law to the output circuit, we get VCC minus VCE minus IC into RC is equal to 0. Or rearranging the terms, VCE is equal to VCC minus IC into RC, or rearranging the terms, IC is equal to minus 1 by RC into VCE plus VCC divided by RC. Call this as equation 1. Now, for a given transistor circuit, VCC, the supply voltage, it is constant. RC, the resistance at the collector terminal, that is the collector resistance, which also acts as load resistance for DC conditions. These two values are fixed. Therefore, this equation 1 is a first degree equation and can be represented by a straight line on the output characteristic curve. This straight line is called as DC load line and determines the locus of VCE IC points for any given load resistance RC. The slope of this line is equal to minus 1 by RC. Observe the equation, minus 1 by RC, and the intercept on y-axis gives us VCE divided by RC. This corresponds to maximum value of collector current. Since the slope depends only on the load resistance RC, the line is called as load line. Now let us understand the procedure to plot the DC load line. To draw any line, we know that at least we need 2 points. Now let us find the 2 points. The first point, to find the first point, put collector current IC is equal to 0. Then substituting value of IC is equal to 0 in equation 1. Then the collector emitter voltage VCE is maximum, and this maximum value of collector current is equal to VCC, the supply voltage. This value is obtained by using the value of IC equal to 0 in equation 1. This point gives the first point V on the collector emitter voltage axis and is as shown in the figure and is called as cutoff point. Observe here, V. There is a mistake here. This point is the first point and it is called as cutoff point. To find the second point, we have collector emitter voltage VC is equal to 0. Then the corresponding collector current is maximum and is equal to VCC divided by RC. Substituting VC is equal to 0 in equation 1, we get 0 is equal to VCC minus IC into RC, or this is equal to IC maximum is equal to VCC divided by RC. This gives the second point A on the collector current axis as shown in the figure and is called as saturation point. Here the symbolic representations are slightly different. A corresponds to the cutoff point. Instead of B, take it as A. Similarly, instead of A, take it as B. These 2 points are called as cutoff and saturation points. Now, if mark the points A and B on the low output characteristic curve, that is the load line, and that gives us the DC load line. Now, let us understand the importance of load line. A load line gives a far more convenient and direct solution to the problems in analog electronics. By plotting the load line and output characteristic curve, we can easily come to know how the transistor is behaving, whether it is in the active region or cutoff region or in the saturation region. All the information can be gathered at one glance by plotting the load line load line on the output characteristic curve. Now let us define the term called operating point. Operating point is a point on the load line which corresponds to zero signal values of IC and VCE. If you consider the load line AB and the output characteristic curve, then the point at which these two, load line and output characteristic curve, intersect each other, that gives us the operating point. The corresponding values of IC and VCE gives us the operating point. Now observe here in the graph, D represents the value of IC, C represents the value of VCE corresponding to the point of intersection Q. This point Q is the operating point for this output characteristic curve. For the sake of convenience, to achieve faithful amplification, always the Q point is exactly chosen at the midpoint of the load line. This type is called as midpoint biasing. This point Q is called as operating point because any variations of IC and VCE takes place about this point when the signal is applied. Whenever signal is applied, there will be slight changes in the operating point, that is, IC and VCE. Those changes will take place about this Q point. This point is also called as quotient or silent point or simply the Q point. This is because it is the point on the IC-VCE characteristic curve when the transistor is silent. It means in the absence of the signal. Now let us understand the second type of load line, that is called as AC load line. AC load line is the locus of Q point when AC signal is applied to the input of the amplifier. Observe the difference. When no signal is applied, the load line is called as DC load line. When the signal is applied, the load line is called as AC load line. This AC load line enables us to determine the values of collector current and collector emitter voltage when the signal is applied to the input. Now observe the diagram on the graph. We have two graphs, one corresponding to the line AB corresponding to DC conditions, that is when no signal is applied. Similarly, the second graph CD represents AC load line. The point of intersection of these two load lines gives us the Q point. To understand the AC load line, let us recall the DC load line analysis. In order to draw the DC load line, we choose 2 points. Similarly, to find the AC load line, we have to choose the 2 points on the output characteristic curve. First, we need to find those 2 points. Now, for that one, let us choose two values, that is first value VCEQ and ICQ be the zero signal voltage and zero signal collector current. Let us choose the 2 points first corresponding to the Q point. VCEQ corresponding to the collector emitter voltage at Q point. ICQ corresponding to collector current at the operating point located on the DC load line. Now, let RAC be the AC load resistance, the effective load resistance found from the equivalent circuit. Then RAC is equal to RC RL divided by RC plus RL. Just let us recall, in DC load line, the collector resistance itself acts as the load resistance. RL is eliminated because of the concepts. Now, in AC load line, the collector current and the load resistance, they are in parallel with each other. Therefore, the effective AC load resistance is equal to RC RL divided by RC plus RL. When signal is applied, the transistor voltage and current vary above and below the Q point. There will be slight changes in the values of collector current and collector emitter voltage. All those changes takes place about the Q point. Therefore, Q point is common to both AC and DC load lines and is given by the intersection of the two. Now let us to find the 2 points. The maximum possible values of positive swing of the signal is ICQ into RAC. If RAC is the effective load resistance, then the maximum possible positive shift in the signal is equal to ICQ into RAC. Similarly, the maximum possible negative signal swing is equal to VCQ. Then for load AC load line, the cutoff point on VCE axis is equal to VCE dash is equal to VCQ plus ICQ into RAC. Similarly, the saturation point is obtained on the y-axis, that is IC axis, that IC dash is equal to ICQ plus VCEQ by RAC. So we have 2 points now for AC load line. First point, VCE is equal to VCQ plus ICQ into RAC. The other one is IC dash is equal to ICQ plus VCQ by RAC. A line is drawn with slope is equal to -1 by RAC passing through the Q point and having VCE, 0 as the first point and 0, IC dash as the second point, which gives us the extreme coordinates corresponding to cutoff and saturation points. And the line joining these 2 points gives us AC load line corresponding to the load resistance RAC. So one thing we need to remember in the load line analysis is in AC load line, the effective load resistance is equal to the parallel combination of RC and RL. Whereas in DC load line, RL gets eliminated. So RC itself acts as the load resistance. Now let us understand one more point. When we compare the AC load line and DC load line, the graphs clearly indicates that AC load line is steeper than DC load line. Let us understand why it is. Now observe here, this is the DC load line, this is the AC load line. AC load line is more steeper than DC load line. Now to understand that, let us take the slope of the 2 graphs. The slope of AC load line, let us take this as tan theta AC. We know that that is equal to -1 divided by RAC, where RAC is RC into RL divided by RC plus RL. Similarly, for DC load line, the slope tan theta DC is equal to -1 by RC. Now, from these two, it is clear that RAC is smaller than RC, and hence the slope tan theta AC is greater than tan theta DC. Since slope is inversely proportional to resistance, we can conclude that the slope of the AC load line is greater than the slope of the DC load line, and hence AC load line is steeper than DC load line. Thank you. Wait for the next session.